We have three new champions across the FSA Landscape. One team absolutely dominated WRL All-Play tournament, and we have a 2025 WRL teaser for you. All of this and more in 20 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions, your one-stop shop for all your athletic communication needs. Happy New Year to everybody out there. It is January 1st. I hope you all had a great New Year's Eve ringing in the new year. I know I did not make it to the ball drop this year. I think it was actually kind of planned that I was not going to make it to the ball drop this year. I think the last time I saw on my clock before the eyes closed was like 11:03. I couldn't even make it the next 57 minutes and just went ahead and closed my eyes and went to sleep. So quick show for you tonight as we're wrapping up all of the championships that we had in the FSA for the year. Going to start off in the WRL first. We're crowning a new champion. The buys are 0-3. Oh, we talking about in the college playoff landscape right now? Yeah, I saw Ohio State was dominating right now over Oregon. I haven't had the TV on for 2 days, so I didn't know what was going on. I was getting updates from you guys on Discord. But we are crowning a new champion in the WRL. The Ted's Lassos put on an impressive performance against the 1863 Ramblers. Speaking of the 1863 Ramblers, Chris, how are you? Final score there was 180-99. Yep, you definitely came in on the wrong time. I'm just getting ready to say that. So huge congratulations to Ted's Lasso, who are the WRL World Champions. Congratulations to them and their general manager, Brian Ware. Nice big payout for them for the year. And then congratulations also to the Banshees region for capturing the world title this year. We did have a great 3-4 game, though, also in the WRL. The margin of victory was only 2.98 points as the Mad Scientist knocked off the E-Thugs 109-107. Eric out there with us as well. Eric, how are you? Banshees repping. Yep, absolutely. Big Ten has had a great year. I mean, even Michigan beating Alabama 2 times in the same calendar year. I kind of like that. Got no problem with that at all. But congratulations to Chris. Not happy that he lost to Ted's Lasso, but congratulations to Brian and Ted's Lasso for the championship. Congratulations to the Banshees for taking home the title. And then this great 3-4 game here between the Mad Scientists and the E-Thugs with a point or a 2.98 margin of victory. But not as impressive as the All-Play tournament. Absolutely dominating performance by Land Sharks and their general manager, Ted Howard. He ended up finishing second, third, and first in points over the 3 weeks of the tournament. And as you can see up there at the top, ended up winning it by 18 games over the 3 weeks. So Ted ends up getting his entry back for the year, $60. It has already been distroed. In fact, all of the money has been distroed out, except for, of course, Chris's. Chris is here now, probably going to give me grief about that as well. A little bit more difficult to get Chris's money whenever we do have to get him money. We are still working that. But everybody, all the Teds. So that's it for the WRL. I want to talk about the APFL for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the F3L. All of the money sitting here with zeros for Chris. Yeah, we'll say all of the money except for Chris has been shelled out to everybody. Talk about the F3L, and then also I teased at the I'm guessing he means let's see your face, Chris. I can always pull you in real quick if we need to. Or are we talking about me? Must be a little delayed on your side, Jason. I talk about the APFL, I want to talk about the F3L, and then I want to talk a little bit about we have a WRL 2025. That's not true. Hey, I got my second championship this year. I don't need extra money. I won 2 in a row. It took me 30 years, but now I've won back-to-back. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And then I also want to talk about the WRL teaser that we have for 2025. But hey, let's get back into the stuff for 2024. So in the APFL and the APFL Bowl number 3, the AFC has finally got their first league win thanks to the Denver Mustangs. The 2 teams that made it to the APFL Bowl 3 were the Denver Mustangs and the Detroit Pride. Mustangs end up getting that win. Final score there was 150 to 135. Can't wait for that that Stoke City tattoo that I chose from you. Yeah, the guys had said in Discord the other day. I have said this for a bunch of years that as I've been playing FSA, that if I ever won a championship in FSA, that I was going to end up getting a tattoo of whatever the logo was of the team at that time. And some of you have been with us for a long time know that for 25 years I used the Nightbreed as my logo, and over the last, I guess it's now been 5 or 6 years, I've used the Monarchs as my logo. And I didn't get my first win last year, but wasn't in an FSA league. It was in Toby's league, which is awesome. It's a great league. And didn't think about getting a tattoo then, but I had made a comment that if I do end up winning a second one, since I was in the championship game, that 2 back-to-back wins, I guess, 2 wins in somebody else's league has got to be good enough to warrant a tattoo, right? So the good thing for me is if I do end up going through and doing it, is the tattoo that I'd be getting is of alternate Walter that we use, Alt Walt, because I'm using that as the team name Wizards over in Toby's league. So that's what I would end up getting tattooed on me. So congratulations to the Denver Mustangs for their 150 to 135 win over the Detroit Pride. So congratulations to the Mustangs and their general manager, Cody Wallinger, for getting that championship, which could, speaking of back-to-back, could lead to a second win. And next year, I could see it happening. He's got a great team going right now. In the 3-4 game, the Buffalo Mafia defeated the Chicago Monsters. Final score there was 126 to 107. Giving the Mafia a slightly bigger purse. That's the whole point of the 3-4 game. Just to kind of tease a little bit, hashtag dismantle Denver. I don't know. We have to give some serious consideration to some of the chat that we've had about that, is if we did get somebody that got back-to-back wins, do we go ahead and start from scratch with the APFL? Something to discuss, especially with as dominating as this team could be again this year. Just to tease, since we're going to talk about teasing of the WRL in 2025, little bit different art you see at the top of the 3-4 game here for the APFL. Decided to go out and do some more AI art, getting us ready for the 2025 season. Got new images for pretty much all of the teams. Some of them were just too good to pass up and use anything else for. So teasing you a little bit, promised myself that I wasn't going to use these until 2025, but I could not come up with anything else good for the graphic that you see here for this week. And I used that as a background image last week. Probably couldn't even see it because it was so subtle, but definitely wanted to use it for this one. I like those 2 images quite a bit. So now that the entire APFL is done, and we could have done this last week as well, because we already knew who the AFC and NFC champions were. We could have already slid them into the 16 spots here in the 2025 APFL draft order, first round draft order. But now that it's complete, we're going to slap the AFC and NFC champions there at the number 16 spot. Now, as we already said, Denver won the AFC side, and they still have that pick on the NFC side. However, Detroit had already traded that pick away to the Atlanta Dirty Birds. That's why you see them at the number 16 spot. So that's, before we get into the F3, I don't want to say that's it for the APFL. Before we get into the F3L, I actually want to talk about something because we're actually kind of already a day behind, and we need to get moving on this pretty quick. And I will put more about this in the Discord tomorrow after I get off work. But the coaches portal and the dispersal draft, we inserted those 2 rules into the APFL last year. So starting with the coaches portal, because that will become a thing for us sooner than later. It will be my task over the next couple of days to find out which general managers will be returning for the 2025 season and which ones will not be. Remember, if we only get one team that decides to drop out, we consider that an orphan team if nobody else in that conference wants to throw in their team for the dispersal draft. If anybody else wants to add a team in there as we are trying to fill that spot, there can and will be a dispersal draft in that particular conference. There have been rumors of a couple of teams leaving on both the AFC and the NFC side. I don't want to speculate who those could be because I'm not sure yet. I will be reaching out to everybody over the next couple of days. I think today's Wednesday, right? So Thursday, Friday, most definitely by Saturday. Hopefully I will have the answers for everybody by Saturday and what that's going to look like. So I want everybody to know, or to let me know by 15 January, that really only gives us 2 weeks of what your intentions are for the 2025 season. And then if anybody's going to participate in the dispersal draft, want to get those funds in sooner than later. Where at, Chris? Is that DM on Discord? Let me check real quick. Chris making me doing work while I'm live here, but hold on, because it's important, or he wouldn't have told me to. Yes. It'll get talked about more tomorrow, and I'll tell you why that is in just a second, Chris, because I did say that I had a WRL 2025 teaser. I'll hit that topic here in a few minutes before we end the show, but not before we get to the F3L stuff. So let me make sure I'm reading that right. You're talking about WRL RMs, right? Let's make sure that that's what you're talking about. So don't just to put it out there as we're wrapping up the APFL here. Don't forget, I will be beating you up. Yeah, I'm glad you did. Thank you for that. Because actually it was yeah, you're fine, RMs. And that's why I wanted to make sure that you meant that. I remembered the coaches portal and the dispersal draft after, like, we were about 30 minutes from going live. And then I remembered, oh crap, I wanted to talk about that tonight. So let me add that to the script real quick. So again, to recap on all of that, coaches portal, dispersal draft, in the next 2 weeks, I'll find out what everybody's intention is in the APFL. If you're going to stay, you're going to go. And then we can figure out we need to do replacements if we're going to do dispersal drafts and when that's going to happen. I would like to have all of that completed, just like we did last year, by February 28th, last day of February. That way we can open up league operations on 1 March. Now, if we have to push league operations start until, say, 12 March, the reason I'm specifically picking that day will kind of show its face a little bit more during the WRL talk for 2025, why 12 March is an important date. We might be able to shift that a little bit to the right by about 12 days, 2 weeks, whatever. All right, let's get into the F3L talk. So this was the inaugural season of the F3L for us, and it was the Ohio Glory that ended up taking the championship game in our very first season of this league. They got the win over the Indiana Firebirds. Final score there was 524 to 445. So congratulations to the Ohio Glory and their general manager, Damian Gratz. And the game of the week for all of the FSA actually happened in the 3-4 game. Gratz on there with us tonight too said, let's go. Had a great season with the FSA this year. Let's see, you won baseball. You end up winning F3L. What else did you get? Did you take something in the APFL as well? You got some money in the APFL, I think, as well. So good turnout for you this year. Not as much as the guy that ends up taking the full purse in the WRL, but I would think stretched across 3 leagues proves you're a pretty good contender. So I think I would take that if I was you. So 3-4 game. Game of the week. Margin of victory. Yeah, you finished top 8 in the APFL. That's what it was. Okay. Margin of victory was just 0.9 points for the Columbus Panhandles as they ended up beating the Atlanta Flames. Final score there was 499.75 to 8.85. So congratulations to Columbus for getting third place and that awesome margin of victory game. So what's left for the FSA for 2024? So again, like I said a little bit ago, minus Chris's money, all the money has been distributed to everybody as of yesterday. It was a pain in the butt, but got through it. We still have the voting that we need to do, which will also start on Saturday. We're going to be voting for General Manager of the Year, Rookie General Manager of the Year. I think we're getting Regional Manager of the Year this year as well. This voting will start and it'll continue all the way through the NFL Super Bowl weekend. And then we will have our FSA Honor Show. That will be where we hand out all of the awards for the year. That'll be our last show of the year. We will be giving out ribbons for the top scoring teams, regional champions, conference champions, champions from each one of the leagues. Everybody will get their little ribbons. We'll attach it to your logo as you look through the standings next year for 2025. And you can see all of the teams and how well they've done over the years. You'll see that in both the WRL and the APFL. Can't really do anything like that. I don't know any F3L yet, but we will get there as we continue growing the F3L and keep bringing it up to speed as we have with all of the other leagues that we do under the FSA umbrella. So that's what we still have looking forward to for the 2024 season. We'll talk a little bit about the NFL for just a second. It is week 18. It's the last week of the regular season. Doesn't mean much to us fantasy-wise unless you're in one of those leagues that has like a free-for-all or an all-play week. I actually play in one of those where this last week will actually count for a little bit of money as well. But as far as the schedule goes for the NFL, there will be 2 games on Saturday. Give me just a second. I need a drink. But you can't guess what's in that glass. So we'll have 2 games on Saturday. They were both AFC North games. We'll have Cleveland at Baltimore. That's the 4:30 game. And then we have Cincinnati at Pittsburgh as the 8 o'clock game. And then all of the rest of the games are on Sunday, to include a Sunday night game, but there is no Monday night game this week. Everything is a divisional game this week. Couple divisional titles still up to grab. The Sunday night game, Minnesota at Detroit, will be a great game. So should be a fun weekend if you just want to enjoy the sport of football again and not worry about the fantasy aspect of it. Great games to watch this weekend. So here's where we're going to talk about the WRL 2025 teaser. Talked to Jason. I don't know if he's still out there right now or not. Jason and I sat down during his 50th birthday party when I was at home in Ohio, and we banged out the 2025 rules for the WRL. Got with him today to clarify a couple of things on it. I have been putting together a presentation that I wanted to show everybody. Thought about 3 different options. We thought about tagging it at the end of the show tonight, but I figured that we would lose an audience, and I didn't want to have to send a message out to everybody and say, hey, if you want to know what's going on for WRL 2025, go out to last night's show, start the time hack here. You'll get to see what's going on. Jason's doing laundry and listening, he says. Also, I didn't want to do just a recorded show, which is what I thought about doing, and just putting it out there for YouTube for anybody to be able to watch. Then they can come and ask questions after that. What I would rather do, though, is I would rather do it live. That way, if you have questions, you can ask right there on the spot. So here's your teaser for WRL for 2025. We will be back again tomorrow night right here at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time, kind of going back to our normal schedule while we can for a little bit until baseball practice picks back up, and we might have to shift back to 9 o'clock. So 8:30 tomorrow night, and I'll put it out in Discord tomorrow as well. We are going to have the entire landscape of the WRL 2025 revealed to you. Got a nice PowerPoint presentation for you all to explain it, talk about some of the rule changes, how we're going to do money for the year, how we're going to do the playoffs and the tournaments, how we're going to do the schedule, how we're going to do the regions. There is a lot. Probably, as you look at it, will feel like a lot of changes, but I think a lot of good things are changing. We're going back to a more simple type of way, the way we used to run FSA leagues as far as redraft stuff goes, combining them in with the stuff that we've been doing for years, which is a deluxe league type thing. Also using expanded tournaments at the end of the year and then also the purse, where we're going to pay back a couple more places this year than what we have been, especially this year when we only paid out the top 6, 5 getting the big money, and then Ted getting the $60 back for winning the All-Play tournament. So, Jason, thank you for jumping online with me today and going through all of that again. I'm really excited about presenting it to everybody tomorrow. So if you're watching this now, or you're watching it later recorded, know that we'll be back, and I'll announce it on Discord here shortly after the show is over as well. And hopefully all of those that are interested in playing in WRL next year will be out to watch it and ask questions too. So that's it. As far as the show goes for tonight, the next broadcast will be tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time. When will we do a show after that? I don't know. It's going to be, do we need to have one as we discuss stuff about the awards? Do we have to have a show to discuss anything dealing with APFL and the coaches portal or the dispersal drafts? Whenever I feel like there needs to be something where you can hear me say it so it doesn't get misinterpreted over Discord or any other way, I will say, hey, let's have a show and we'll put one together. But for sure, tomorrow night, WRL 2025 and what it looks like, we'll be back here at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time. So hopefully you all will be here for that. That's it. I want to thank all of our sponsors for the year, SMS, especially for being the title sponsor for us for this year. We got to thank Nature Coast Apparel. I think this is Brandon's last year of doing anything with the apparel side of the house. And we were able to get out our last cornhole boards as well to the 2023 champion, the Lunatics. What I probably will do is whenever we have our next broadcast, hopefully in that time period, I'll be able to get Sean his shirt and a picture. We'll throw that on that broadcast as well, so you can see how great those boards turned out and what the t-shirt looks like on Sean's body. Got to thank the recast and the official music of FSA. You get to hear them every time the intro video starts up on our shows. And then Brandon Gums, who helped me put the website together this year. I got to thank him each time at the end of these shows because the website just looks awesome. So that's it. We're looking at about 22 minutes. If you have any questions, hit me up over on Discord. I am going to drop a message as soon as we get off here to let everybody know that the WRL 2025 lecture, landscape, presentation, PowerPoint, whatever, will be tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. East Coast time. Eric, I appreciate you. Thanks, man. I know it's been a crazy year. I appreciate the times that you have gotten online with me to pick my brain. That way you can hear it from the source's mouth versus us just trying to do it over text messages or DMs. So I appreciate that. Damon, we'll see you tomorrow night. Jason, I appreciate it. See you all tomorrow night. You all have a great rest of your New Year's Day. I hope any New Year's resolutions that you have set for yourself, you're going to continue with, and you haven't stopped doing them already on the first day. And then we will see you tomorrow night for the extra 2025 WRL broadcast. See you all tomorrow night. Have a good night.